It was a quiet morning deep in the mountains. Far away from busy roads, crowded cities, and the constant noise of everyday life, there was a hidden place very few people knew about. A deep emerald pool surrounded by rocky cliffs and tall trees. The water was still, so still that it reflected the sky like a giant mirror. This place looked peaceful, but local villagers had always said something interesting about it. They believed the pool was incredibly deep. No one really knew how deep. Some said it was formed by an ancient underground spring. Others believed it was once part of a collapsed cave system hidden beneath the mountain. Whatever the truth was, one thing was certain: the water here was full of fish. And that's exactly why Alan came here today. Alan loved fishing, not just casual fishing, but the kind that required patience, quiet observation, and a bit of adventure. Instead of crowded lakes or popular fishing spots, he preferred exploring hidden places like this. Places where nature was untouched. Places where every cast of the fishing line felt like a discovery. Early that morning, Alan hiked through the forest carrying only the essentials. A simple fishing rod, some bait, a small backpack, and of course, plenty of curiosity. When he finally reached the edge of the deep mountain pool, he paused for a moment. He looked around. The cliffs were tall and rugged. Wild plants grew along the rocky edges. Sunlight filtered through the trees, creating shimmering reflections on the surface of the water. It was the perfect fishing spot. But there was one small challenge. The edge of the cliff was steep. So Alan carefully found a stable spot where he could stand safely while casting his line into the deep water below. He prepared his rod, checked the hook, attached the bait, then slowly swung the fishing line out across the water. The bait landed with a soft splash. And just like that, the waiting began. Fishing isn't always about action. Most of the time, it's about patience. Minutes passed. The gentle sound of wind moving through the trees filled the quiet mountain air. Birds chirped somewhere in the distance. The water barely moved. Alan kept his eyes on the line. Every tiny movement mattered. Sometimes fish would nibble at the bait. Sometimes the current would move the line. But an experienced fisherman knows the difference. After a few minutes, Alan adjusted his grip on the rod. He slowly reeled the line in just a little. Then cast it again, this time farther into the deeper part of the pool. Again, the bait disappeared beneath the calm green water. More waiting, but this time something felt different. Suddenly, the tip of the fishing rod twitched. Just slightly. Alan froze. He didn't move, he simply watched the rod. Another small movement, then another. This wasn't the current. Something was definitely touching the bait. Alan tightened his grip. Still calm, still patient. He knew rushing too quickly could scare the fish away. A few seconds later, the rod bent sharply. That was it. A fish had taken the bait. Alan quickly lifted the rod and pulled back. The line tightened instantly. Whatever was on the other end was strong. Very strong. The fishing line cut through the water as the fish tried to swim deeper into the pool. Alan
Fishing
carefully
like this
balanced
wasn't easy,
himself near the cliff
especially
edge
when
while
the water
controlling
below
the
was
tension.
so
deep. The fish pulled hard. Alan slowly reeled the line in. Then the fish pulled again. Back and forth. A quiet battle between fisherman and fish. For a moment, the surface of the water rippled. A flash of silver appeared just beneath the surface. Alan smiled. This was definitely a good catch. But the fight wasn't over yet. The fish suddenly made another powerful dive. The rod bent even further. Alan carefully adjusted his position, making sure not to lose his balance. Step by step, he continued pulling the line closer. The fish was getting tired. Finally, after several long minutes, the fish began rising toward the surface. The water swirled, and then, splash, the fish broke through the surface. It was big, much bigger than Alan expected. He carefully pulled the line toward the rocky edge. Slowly, slowly, until finally he lifted the fish out of the water. Success! Alan looked down at the catch. A large mountain fish, shining in the sunlight. Moments like this were the reason he loved fishing so much. Not just the catch itself, but the entire experience. The quiet nature, the patience, the excitement when something finally bites. He carefully removed the hook and admired the fish for a moment. The peaceful mountain pool behind him looked just as calm as before, as if nothing had happened. But Alan knew this hidden place still held many secrets beneath the surface. Maybe even bigger fish, maybe even deeper waters. He smiled. Today had been a good day, but this place, this mysterious mountain pool, definitely deserved another visit. So Alan packed his gear, took one last look at the quiet emerald water, and slowly began hiking back through the forest trail, already thinking about the next adventure. Because for those who truly love the outdoors, every fishing trip is just the beginning of another story waiting to happen. And somewhere out there, another hidden fishing spot is waiting to be discovered.